No.
Like 3 weeks. Yeah, it's like March. All right, guys. Welcome to another episode of Drake Live, presented by Deeks Waterfowl. Today we got my buddy, bow hunter, go hunt, article writer, all around good dude. And then we got Trevor and Parker joining us. So Justin's been wanting to get on the podcast for quite some time, ever since we got it started. So we made the time for him.
Did he want to, or were you harassing him?
I was harassing him.
Yeah, I don't remember it going in that way.
Yeah, I harassed him. I think I left him a couple messages.
Justin, please.
Please. No, we got a lot to talk about. First thing I started to talk about was your Bronco. So I had this Bronco in high school. It was like a 82. You remember that?
Don't compare that Bronco
No.
to what he's
It's a
got.
cool story.
Like, don't even.
It's a cool story. I had this
I
Bronco.
mean, they're probably similar to size, right? Did you have a Bronco 2 or a Bronco?
It was a Bronco. No, it was a Bronco 2.
The little one?
Yeah.
It was
it was a 2.
It was a sick Bronco.
No, those
I
things
loved
suck.
it.
Little tiny thing?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I remember I was like, dude, I have a Bronco I could sell you. And I was like, I think it's an 82 or 83. And you're like, nope, it's got to be a 70. And then you went and bought one.
66 to 76, 77.
What's yours?
Mine's a 70. But anything in those years, they're all the same body style. And I've wanted one since I was like 15. Younger than that, I can remember when I was like 5 and I lived in Southern Oregon, and my neighbor, this old dude, he used to give me candy, which is really creepy. But whoa. He was super cool old dude. He was a widower, but anyways, he'd always drive around in this Bronco, and then ironically, this color that I got, the kind of champagne gold with a white top, is
That's what he had.
identical to what he used to drive around. So
Maybe it was his Bronco.
you never know. Probably not, because it came from Canada.
You went all the way down into... Wait, Canada? I thought you got it in Montana.
I got it in Canada. I got it in Saskatchewan.
Dang.
That was an hour and a half over the border.
And you found it on Craigslist?
Mm-hmm.
Who found it? You or your wife?
Me?
Dang. And you were like, I'll take it.
Pretty much, after I saw the pictures.
How long was it till you went down there and picked it up?
3 weeks?
Oh.
But still, I mean...
You just say, yo, I'll give you $4,000, hold it.
I mean, he wanted 5, and then he basically gave it to me for 4 because he knew it needed a lot of work.
Oh, really?
And I was like, dude, done. I'll take it. Like, no questions asked. And I was like, when can I come get it? What works for you? And, yeah, a couple weeks later, we worked it out. I left the day after Christmas, and
See you in 4
took me...
days.
Nah, it took me a day and a half to get there, a day and a half to get back.
Saskatchewan.
Yeah, Helena's a 10-hour
I was going to
drive.
say, how far is that from Helena?
I don't know how far
It was
that is.
like... It was probably another 7 or 8 on
Really?
top of that.
Yeah, I mean, you
'Cause
could
it was like-
drive in one.
It was like 16 to where I stayed, and then it was another 5 up there to go get the Bronco through Montana, across the border, and then got the Bronco, which only took like a half an hour to load it up. The guy just pushed it up with his tractor that has like it has a C-channel welded bumper on the back, and you know, he just got behind it, and I put it in neutral and steered it right up.
It doesn't start, huh?
No.
You put a, I saw some pictures, you put a big-ass tent over it now so you can work it while it's raining, huh? You
Yeah.
still got that up?
Mm-hmm.
Dude.
I got it all staked down and
How
stuff.
much money? How much money do you think you're gonna have to put into that? Dude, have you seen pictures of it?
Oh yeah, when he first
Including the purchase of it, or not?
Awesome.
No, not the purchase of it. Just all the money that you have to put into it.
Are you fully restoring it?
Yeah.
Okay, then yeah, you're.
Yeah, it's
You're
gonna be
gonna
sweet.
be a lot.
So I got like a really good buddy that lives on the East Coast who's gonna give me a motor. He's used to be he's still into really into Fox body Mustangs, like the late '80s, early '90s Mustangs, back when they were pretty cool back then. But anyways, he's getting that motor's all built and has like 400 horsepower and shit. And he's gonna give it to me because he wrecked his Mustang and he's got plans to
giving it
put.
to you.
He's gonna put like new like a aluminum block Coyote motor in it. So he's gonna give it to me. He's gonna just. I mean, we've been friends since forever, and so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna 4-link the rear suspension, all new paint. It's gonna be.
Dude, I'm gonna put up some pictures so people can see of how it is now. This is pretty rough.
It's pretty rough, but I've got it down like.
It's been sitting in a field for how long?
The guy bought it like
60 years or
30 or 35 years ago. The guy bought it and then had plans to have his son fix it up or something like
Oh,
that.
that's right. And
then
son didn't want anything to
son fixed up an AMC Javelin instead, which I was like, I don't know if any of you young kids know
don't
what
even know what
that
that
is, but they're ugly. Ugly cars. They look like a wannabe like old Batmobile.
Batmobile's cool.
No, not like from the 80s Batmobile.
Oh.
Like just a hoopty.
I'm curious to see what it looks like when it's done, because those pictures and those videos you sent me of those dudes, or I forget, what was that YouTube channel?
The Icon ones.
No, it was a dude, and he, like, it's strictly Broncos.
Oh yeah, I don't remember. I know what you're talking about, but
they had some sweet looking Broncos. Like, I'm not a fan of Broncos, but when they're all cleaned up like that, I was like, damn, those look good.
yeah, it'll have a nice lift on it and paint, and I want to do fuel injection, and because right now it has drum brakes all around and they're not power assisted, so like good luck stopping it, so I want to make it safe to drive, have power steering and things like that, maybe add some power windows.
Maybe a seatbelt.
Yeah, one of those, put a roll cage in it too,
Well,
just
if you need any help, don't call me.
well, I know how handy you are.
Yeah,
so
do not call me.
I'm definitely not going to call you.
Vehicles is not my forte.
Yeah, I've seen your Ford.
Yeah, I know. Parker talked about it on a couple
how
podcasts
that thing
ago.
is still running.
It's just, dude,
Nobody
at a certain
knows.
point, and I found this to be fact with my Bronco, they are held together with rust and dirt at a certain point. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, you start messing with anything, the whole thing just disintegrates and falls apart on you.
That's where my
Yeah.
truck's at right now.
I had to
Yeah.
put mine on jack stands even though it's on the frame.
Yeah,
Remember,
Trust me.
like, 2 years ago, you're like, "Why don't you change my oil?"
Yeah.
You go change the oil. You're like, "There's no oil
There's
in
no
here."
oil in it.
It's like, when's the last time you changed the oil?
I was on Triple Chat. I was on Chris's podcast, and I was talking about my truck, and I went, dude. So, I went to Schwab's the day me and Colby were going turkey hunting. When I was driving over to Redmond, and I take it in there for an alignment, and the guy has my truck for like an hour and a half. And I'm just sitting there eating popcorn, drinking coffee, and he finally comes around, tosses me the keys. I'm like, sweet. All right, what's the payment? He's like, we didn't do anything to your truck. He's like, buddy, dude. I
Your
go
truck's fucked.
Yeah,
I
I go up
remember
there.
this day.
He prints out one page, another one, another one. It's like 4 pages of just shit that needs to be done to my truck. And
Before it can get alignment.
yeah.
before it can even,
alignment.
before they can even touch it. So I was like, you didn't do anything to it? And he's like, no, I just had the guys back there diagnosing it. And I told the guy, I was like, I'm leaving here and driving over to Redmond. And the guy looked at me, he's an older guy, he's like, son, I wouldn't drive this out of the parking lot. Yeah. I was like, alright. Drove over to Redmond. Yeah.
With a
And
child.
you're still driving it.
And I'm still driving it. Yeah, I gotta get rid of it. I need a back seat.
You didn't say that for 4 years.
4.5.
4.5 years.
Yeah.
Well, let's skip to the good stuff.
Yeah, I suppose. So.
Yeah, all the good stuff. Hunting related.
No.
Are you doing anything out of state? Like you always do?
I hope so.
Nevada, one of them.
Maybe. We'll see if I draw.
Montana,
Probably not.
and then your Idaho.
Probably do Idaho.
You do Idaho almost every year, huh?
Yeah.
You do
Typically.
Wyoming?
I did Wyoming.
You're damn near in
a
Wyoming,
couple
right?
of years ago. Yeah, but I couldn't get that tag this year.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. I don't have a plan yet. But I've been in talks with some friends about doing maybe a late season rifle elk hunt with them.
Gotcha. Why didn't I not hear
So
about
I don't know, because it's family,
this? Put him on the spot.
No,
Because they want to kill something.
brother-in-law.
Gotcha.
But anyways, yeah, like that I might do, and then we'll see what the draws come out with. I mean, Arizona, I didn't draw, which I was hoping for, that late season elk tag, but There's still
That
Utah.
Arizona late tag is what, October? November?
Thanksgiving time.
That's right.
I'm hoping I draw. I got enough points for a good deer tag in Utah, so I'm hoping that I draw that.
Archery?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
It starts like August 12th, I think.
Oh my gosh. That's just right around the corner, dude.
I know. Yeah, dude, like, the death hike is in
Are you doing the death hike?
Yeah, it's in like 3.5 weeks.
You heard about that?
Yeah.
Exo death hike?
I've heard about it. I will never do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna
You
suck.
would have to pay me
I've heard a lot. I've
of
heard a
money
lot
to do
about it.
that.
I've watched, like
Dude,
Cody
fun.
Kellum does it every year, and he posted a video on their story last year of like them getting into a creek at nighttime,
Mm-hmm.
dude. And he's just like, oh. I'm
Yeah.
like, dude.
I know. And this time it's in March, and it's going to be in the snow in the middle of Idaho, and we've been told that there's no shelters allowed. It's baby sack only, and you better have really good snowshoes.
How many miles all around?
We just have a map with waypoints, and there's estimated distances between as a crow flies, and it's like an average of 20.
That's nothing.
I said nothing.
With snowshoes and weight? Sure.
Snowshoes.
Yeah. So
Hey, Parker did like
it'll probably be
20
like
in one day.
it'll probably be 35-ish, I'm guessing, by the time we get, but it's going to be, Frank Church type.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that do that.
Yeah.
I've
I
seen
think
pictures
it's
of
going to be like
dudes' feet afterwards.
it's going to be like 30 of us, I think.
Red. Yum.
Yummy.
Yummy, dude. I know.
Yeah. So, but hopefully we're going to split in a bunch of groups, and we can bounce up wolf packs between each other.
You got anyone you're going down with? Just yourself?
Yeah.
And meet up with dudes?
I'll probably ask if anyone's around here from Portland. Maybe we can ride together, but we'll see.
Trevor, you should do that. You're all about losing weight.
Trevor needs to gain some weight.
Yeah.
That'll do
God,
it.
I'm gaining weight now.
That'll
That's
do
too
it.
much weight.
That, you shot you hit a bull this year, right?
Mm-hmm. In Idaho.
In Idaho. What happened on that?
So it was my 22nd day of hunting. I hunted for the first half of September in Oregon.
Yeah.
A few days with you. We got an elk every day.
Heck yeah, we did.
We got close. We got close a few times, man.
I know.
Like, under 20 yards, just no shot.
Tried telling
Probably,
him. Thanks for clarifying that, so now Trevor can believe it.
I don't know, what,
Everyone can
two or
believe
three
it.
times we were under 20 yards with no
Mhm.
shot.
I couldn't even see him.
I saw antler tips a couple times, but
Wait,
that
you were
was
in
it.
Idaho?
No.
No, in
When
Oregon,
all you guys,
in
when
the
all you
beginning.
guys left, and it was just me and
Oh,
Justin,
yeah.
that next day was unreal.
What do you mean? The first day was...
Oh yeah, the first day was.
Say first,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah,
great.
I was in elk the first day.
Yeah.
Not for
Mhm.
us.
Well, no, because we slept in until it was like bright and sunny. We still
Me, you,
heard
and
bugles in the
Kyle.
distance, like, "Oh, there's elk out there! Oh, let's go!" Then we
was
ran
elk.
into those kids, like, "Come out of the freaking bushes!" And they're like, "We just saw the biggest bull ever."
I did see the biggest bull I've ever seen.
Dude, they're out there.
They are.
Yeah.
It's impossible to walk through that stuff,
It was
though, dude.
very, very
It's
hard.
Kinda
super
wasted the-
thick.
Evening hunt before when we first got there.
Oh yeah,
Oh, thanks to me,
yeah.
Walking
and
around the woods for a little
my
while there.
injuring 2 animals this season.
Hey, it happens, man.
It does happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, you made it,
That was the dumbest shot I've ever taken,
That
ever.
was a tar- that was
but
a
you
hard
It
shot.
was
hit.
retarded. You're right, I did hit him, but it was like dumb.
That was.
I thought you hit him good though.
I mean,
I can't believe
With
you
the
hit
arrow?
speed.
that was
Like the arrow, I'll put pictures up for people to look, dude. With the blood, the arrow that we found. I
and
thought
usually a
for
deer you'd think would just fall over and die.
Yeah,
You know,
not like elk and keep bumping them. I do think we bumped, or I do think we started looking too soon.
Way too soon, dude.
Way
We
too
waited for
soon.
like 30 minutes max.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
That was dumb. Bad shot. Leave. We should leave overnight.
I know.
But
That probably would have been wise, but
I put the
that's how you learn lessons right there.
when we first started tracking that deer, I put the tracker on Onyx.
Mhm.
We just did this, like 3 miles. Of
Oh, I
just
remember.
loops.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No,
and then
that-
a week and a half later, I injured a bull.
Yeah. Well, how far though? It was a frontal shot at
Yeah,
like
dude, I
50.
cannot believe.
Oh, dude, I thought I had it. It was
Yeah.
a 50-yard frontal shot.
Same day I was full draw on my bull in fossils. Yeah. Same day I was full draw on
I remember I was
my
texting
bull.
him. I was like, "Dude, I might need your
Yeah.
help."
Well, I called you and I was like, just let me know. I was like, I'm not that far from you.
I was a good 5 miles, 6 miles in by myself.
Yeah.
And I was like, I knew Hayden was coming up like the next day.
And I was like an hour and a half from you.
Yeah. I was like,
That's a crappy trip for you, dude.
what resources?
Truck started breaking down on you.
Yep.
Well, it's because I went up that mountain. It's like 30 miles on this just
Wash
terrible road.
Just straight wash.
I didn't know what happened, but you can just feel it. I knocked a bunch of coils out, like out of
It's
place.
the second time you've done that. Or you got
Yeah.
water.
The first time I went through that puddle, it was so bad, I got a bunch of water right into my coil. And my truck just misfired. Just dum, 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 dum. And I was like, my truck's breaking. I like, see, it's like broken. And I was like, oh my God, I could just take it out. And I was like, it's full of water.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, so like shove a napkin down there. Pull
On the
it
side
out.
of 80, or on the side of 26.
I pulled over like 10
Pulled
times.
over, I was like, what are you doing?
And I kept blowing it. I was like, burning my face and shit on my engine. It was terrible.
I interrupted you. Sorry, you were on your 22nd day hunting.
Yeah. So I'd hunted the first half of September in, Oregon, Eastern Oregon. And then had some close calls, obviously just never actually took a shot. And then went to Idaho. First evening I packed into my spot. I missed a 6-point at like 56 yards and just hit a little limb I didn't see and just hit the dirt right at his feet.
Oh.
He was just uphill slightly, like with an embankment behind him, just standing on a side
Perfect
hill.
shot.
Dude, it was just, I was in the tree line. He had no idea I was there. Like they were just feeding a 6-point and 2 cows, and I just whiffed it.
Did you cry?
First day I was there, just about. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I probably did. And then had a few more close calls. Let a couple little ones walk. Had a small bull. I think it was like a little tiny, like a 4x3 or something like that. I caught
weren't
sniffing my
being picky,
backpack. Huh?
You weren't being picky.
You caught sniffing
No,
your
I-
backpack?
Yeah.
An elk?
An elk. Yeah. No, I was being picky. That's why I didn't shoot that little one.
Oh. Gotcha. How was it sniffing your backpack?
Because I was dropped my backpack like 20, 30 yards behind me, and I was working up into an bedding area to try to call a bull that I had heard bugle from his bed. And I was making a bunch of noise, just raking trees and shit, and just, thrashing branches and rolling rocks and stuff. And then I like stopped to catch my breath, and I heard a twig break behind me, and I looked back, and there's a little tiny bull just like sniffing my exo, and I was like, "Hey, man!" And he just kind of looked at me, and he just ran off, and I was like, "Oh, cool."
Dude, that technique, the raking the trees and stuff. Dude, when we were in,
The raking the trees and stuff?
yeah, so
The raking the
trees. So I go with Justin, and I grab the camera. We went out for an evening hunt the day you guys left, and we got into this bedding area, and he was like, just pick up a branch. We set our packs down, set our bows down. I grabbed a big ass limb, had the camera in this hand because I was vlogging and filming, and he's like, just go over there and start raking trees. So I'm over there just raking trees, and my arm starts burning because I'm just, just going at it, just doing it, and so I start half-assing it, and I'm just starting hitting the tree, and Justin turns around, he's like, "You ever heard an elk?" Or he's like, "Have you ever seen an elk with a hammer?" And I was like, "No," and he's like, "Rake, don't hit it." And I was like, "All right."
He's just back there hitting the tree like I'm
like I'm
It
playing
sounds
the
like a
drums.
2x4 is just going clonk, clonk, clonk in the woods because he's got like this old rotten.
Yeah, and he's like, "You ever heard an elk with a hammer?" And I was like, "No." So
I was like,
I put the
man.
camera down. Well, first, right before this, we go up to this giant ass stump, and he's like, "Yo, look at this." And I'll put the video up after this, but he's like, "Look at this." And there's this hole in the ground right by the stump where a beehive used to be. And he's like, "Bear." I was like, "Alright." He takes his decoy off his backpack and he sets it in the tree, and I'm just like, "Alright, never seen that before, but okay." And starts raking this tree, dude, and I hear, "Ow! Ow!"
Oh, God.
And I'm like 20 yards in front of him, hammering on a tree, and Justin's like, he's got his hat up, and he's like, "Ow, fuck." I'm like, "What happened?" He's like, "Bees." I was like, oh shit.
I thought it was a dead hive, dude. The whole thing was like carved out, and there was like dead bees and chunks of nest everywhere, and I was like,
got lit up, dude. And I didn't know where.
That was like the 6th time I got stung last season.
I know.
It was
and
bullshit.
I was like, if I laugh, is he gonna get angry? So I was like, trying to play like, dude, are you okay? So, yeah, I'll put that video up, dude. Looking back, dude, I laughed my ass off. But, dude, you took it like a champ. I would have been like, let's go back to camp. I need ice. No, we kept on going. Hunting with you, dude, is like, man. I learned so much because a couple weeks after that, I did that same tactic, and I was able to get closer on a bull than I have before.
The raking trees and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna.
Dude, you sound like an elk.
Yeah, and I didn't know that. Like
if you think about it like this. I heard this somewhere recently. I don't know where. I have a shitty memory. Anyways.
Wikipedia.
No. Like, heard it. If you think about it, like, elk are prey, and, like, predators they act different, right?
Sure.
Like, if any predator walks through the woods, you never hear him.
Yeah.
You don't hear a mountain lion. You don't hear a bear. Hardly ever. Like,
I don't ever see them.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they're predators for a reason. So, like, deer and elk are always looking out for shit, making tiny little twig pops and stuff. They're like, oh, what was that? Yeah. But if you come into an elk herd just kicking stumps and breaking branches, you sound just like one of them walking trying to find a herd.
Yeah, that's something I didn't know. I was always trying to be stealthy.
Yeah, and they just get on edge if they hear like little sneakily kind of noises coming at them. They're like, what the hell is going on here?
Hear my bow draw back.
Dry fire.
Yeah, dry fire. But no, dude, I didn't know any of that. Like, I still feel like I'm pretty green into archery hunting, even though I'm going on like my 3rd, 4th year. I still learn stuff every day, especially going out with you.
Yeah, I still learn.
Yeah,
it never stops. If you stop, if you think you've learned it all, you're,
dude. I think
sorely mistaken.
I was like, first year when I heard a bull respond to Parker, I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like, I've never heard an elk respond to another call, because when I hunted them, they were out of the rut and everything.
Oh, yeah, that's true for rifle.
So, like I said, I'm still learning. So are you, dude? Fuck.
Oh, yeah. Last year was my first archery season.
Yeah. So, anyways, on the 22nd day in Idaho.
Let's get back to this.
22nd day in Idaho, I actually arrowed a bear to begin the morning. So, I had been packed into this spot for 8 days, and I had all these close encounters, and I was just like, you know what, I got to get out of here and get a break, get back to the truck, get some more food, maybe go sit in glass somewhere for a day and just take a break and kind of relax. And so I did that. I went back to the truck and threw my pack in, and I was like, I'm going to take a drive where there's still some light. And I just got around this corner, went up the other ridge, and I look up, and as I'm driving up this ridge, I look over, and I see some elk. I'm like, sweet. So I stop, pull up the binos, and a nice 6-point and 2 cows and a spike and a calf. So just a small little herd, and it was like, I don't know, 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, late September, so it was getting dark. And just watched them, you know, kind of my idea where they were at. First thing in the morning, I just camped on top of that ridge that night, and woke up in the morning, relocated them, and kind of watched where they went until it got warm in the morning, and waited till, I don't know, I think 9 or so. Thermals were coming up the hill by then, because it was a, let me think about this. It was a east-facing slope, so it got sun first thing in the morning. So they were in the trees, you know, pretty similar, and the wind got constant quicker on that side. So anyways, on an east-facing slope in the morning, thermals will be more constant, quicker, you know, whatever. So anyways, I go on this stock and I just go up to the top of the road, hit a little trail, work my way back across to where I think I'm going to drop in on these elk. And as I'm working my way there, out of the corner of my eye, I'm kind of coming around like the head of a draw, and it's dropping off to my left. So I'm looking down the canyon to my left, and I can see a bear coming up the ridge, angling away from me slightly. And I think to myself, well, he's probably going to come up to the road, because bears like to walk roads or trails, you know, whatever. They typically like to, anything least resistance they're going to take. Yeah. You know, and so anyways, it looked like he was heading that way, so I was like, well, I'll see if I can cut him off. And I cut him off right to this opening of the bushes, and there was bear tracks all over in the dried up mud, and there was all these like wild cherries all over, and pits and bear shit all over. And I was like, well, he's gonna come up right here probably. So I just stood up on the little berm on the side of the trail there and waited and waited and waited, and I heard him coming, and I should have waited about, I don't know, half a step longer, because I shot him right in the front shoulder blade, and the arrow just thunk, and it was sticking out, you know, every bit of that far. It didn't get any penetration, but I shot him at like 7 feet. Like me to that Mr. Buddy Heater.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It only went in like that far?
Yeah, but I mean, he hit a square in the shoulder. Just he took a step, it was just like,
wham!
I timed it just the most terrible timing. It was like BAM! And I just heard it whack! And he was like all the way down to the bottom.
Back of the ocean. Iron Will broadhead.
Huh?
I said, there goes your Iron Will broadhead.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God.
I know, right?
Yeah.
There goes.
Don't remind me.
$1,000.
Yeah.
Just about.
Nice.
So anyways, as I trail this bear, at the time I don't believe that I hit it in the shoulder blade. I'm like, oh, maybe it, you know, went in a little further and he broke off and it's just tearing up in there, you know. And so I get down there, I start following blood, and I'm following blood, and I'm like, I've gone like 1.25 miles, and he crosses this creek, and it's just dry, and I'm like, oh, this sucks. And I like pick up a couple watery spots here and there, and then he bombs down and goes deeper into the bottom. And so at one point he goes through this little like super tight thicket of underbrush, like trees, or like undergrowth trees, or like they were half as old as everything else in there, you know. And he goes in there, and so I follow through there just to kind of see if he's, you know.
You got your pistol ready, right?
Yeah, I had it with me, you know. And I go in there, and I don't see no bear, but I walk up on this deadhead buck, and it's just like, this thing's like 155, 160-inch deadhead deer, just like in perfect condition. Looked like it died in the velvet, because all the little nubs around the bases, like he hadn't rubbed anything. They're all pristine. And he's got like...
Fairly old?
Probably... No, it was probably a year, 2 maybe, tops. Oh, yeah. Like, I mean, it was in the shade in a spot where it wouldn't get a lot of sunlight, but there was like fur and stuff around. And,
squirrels didn't pick it up, huh?
No.
Lucky.
There's not a nibble on it. It was crazy.
Squirrels couldn't even find it.
I was like shocked. So anyways...
That bear was going through some stuff where it was hard to he was going through some nasty stuff where normal people probably wouldn't be walking through.
No, definitely. Where a deer would go curl up and die.
Yeah.
It looks like either a cat drug it in there. That's why I was thinking maybe a cat got it in velvet. That's why the antlers are in such a nice shape, because they're like super white too. They're not brown at all. And so anyways, I pick up this dead head. I'm like, sweet, that's awesome. And I just take the lid loose on my XO, and because most of the skull was gone, so it just pretty much had a skull cap. Just throw that over, strap it back on, so the antlers are up on my pack, right? And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm just gonna haul this out to the bottom and see if I can.
Can you take them in Idaho?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
And so I just follow it out to the bottom. I'm thinking to myself, I'm just gonna follow it out to the bottom and then go back to the other side and try to reglass the elk and make another game plan. And as I'm strapping that thing to my pack, I hear a bugle, and it's like close, just a lazy bugle, nothing really like aggressive or anything, but like it sounded close.
Yeah.
And so I kind of peek out of the little thicket I'm in and look around with my binos, and I see a cow. And I was like, shit, that's really close. She's like 80 yards. And so I make a little sneak and get to another little thicket and range the cow that's out there just feeding, and she's at 37 yards. And I'm like, done deal. Like, wait for that bull to step out. This is game over. And that's exactly what happened. Like, it went to script. I couldn't have done it. I couldn't have asked for anything better. Like, he bugled from behind where he was, where I couldn't see him.
Wind was good.
Wind was perfect. I was slightly uphill of them across the little gully, I guess you could call it, kind of just a slight drainage. It was a pretty flat little area, kind of where elk like to be.
Yeah. And
because it was mid-morning, it was probably 11 noon by now after tracking that bear for a mile, And so, yeah, he steps out 37 yards, and I'm sitting there at full draw, and I just take 2 side steps away to clear this little overhanging tree branch, and he kind of glances my way and turns his head back, and I don't know if he thought I was a deer or thought I was nothing.
You still had
I still had the antler things on my pack, and they were sticking way the hell above my head, so who knows? Maybe he thought I was a deer. I don't know. But he just like glanced my way and then looked back at the cow and just like put his head down to eat something, and I let an arrow fly, and I couldn't have placed it any better.
No.
Honestly,
You watched it just sink right through?
I watched it sink. No, I never found it.
Huh.
And immediately I had I've heard some advice from some people so I just took a grain of salt and took my shoes off for 2 hours, ate everything in my pack, and I was like, I'm just going to wait 2 hours.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
What we should have done for yours.
So after that, I walk up to where I shot, immediately see blood, and it's
good blood.
Good blood. It's bubbly, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to walk up to a dead bull in no time, and he was a good bull. He's probably 280-ish, he was pushing that 300 mark, he was just a stud bull, I would have been ecstatic to go home with him. And yeah, I ended up bumping him 250 yards down the blood trail.
Not far at all.
Nope. And I think I single lunged him, because when I went to the spot where he was bedded down, it was just, it was pink, frothy, just a pile about this big, and it was just, even the next day, it still had bubbles in it. Because I ended up grid searching for 4 days after this. Like, it was like, it was probably the 24th or so, 25th of September by then, and I think I had 4 or 5 days left of September left to hunt.
Within those 4 days, are you still hunting? Or are you more dead set on trying to find the bull that you hit?
Yeah, I was dead set on that. Like,
yeah.
After the second day, I just left the bow in the truck, and I was just expecting to find that bull rotten dead somewhere, or I was like. But the bad part is that night it just started dumping rain, and then it snowed, and then it snowed, and then it rained, and then it rained, and it snowed and rained, and snowed and rained, and any tracks, anything fresh looking, gone. So yeah, I ended up gridding. I did think I did like another 40 miles just gridding, looking for that bull along that ridge, and
Was he wasn't the same bull that you found that morning? You said you glassed.
Yeah.
He was that bull?
Yeah, it was.
Gotcha.
Because they weren't, I mean, by the time once I looked at the GPS is where I had gone and tracked that bear, I was right in the same patch that I thought they were at. And so, and he was with a cow and a calf and a spike.
That's bow hunting.
Yeah, so that was heartbreaking, and just...
Well, yeah.
It's bow hunting, but it is what it is.
Because I remember you telling me a story, because you said you couldn't have asked for a better shot. I remember that bull you told me that just came up and it was a frontal shot, and you shot it right here in the chest and it was sticking out its ass.
Mm-hmm.
And
that
thing
was in
over.
Idaho 2 years ago.
Yeah, and how far did that thing run?
Took like 10 steps.
Yeah. So.
That's what I mean, in that area. Yeah, I mean, it's...
So you lost...
I had the same exact feeling when I shot that arrow. I was like,
money.
Oh, that bull's dead. Like, I was like, I did it. I did it, I was like, because I've been trying to shoot a herd bull for a long time, or not, a mature bull.
Yeah.
Something besides a 3 or a 4 or a 5 point.
Yeah.
And...
Well, when you get to hunt for the whole month of September, yeah, I'd be picky too.
Yeah.
Did you feel that way when you shot at yours? Or were you like,
So I shot, and I know it hit him because it made that noise.
Yeah.
And he did like this 180 spin, and he took off down the hill. And about 15 seconds later, I just heard this huge crash. And I was like...
Game over.
I was like, I just did it.
Right?
Oh my God.
And that's what I heard too.
I just did it.
And then I heard silence.
Yeah, and then it was completely silent. Didn't hear a single thing after that. And I was like, I'm still going to wait a full hour at least. Sat down, ate some dried top ramen, blah, blah, blah.
The usual.
Walk up to where he was, and then I was like, oh God, and everything looks so different. So I went back over to where I shot him from, and I was taking pictures with my phone. Walked back over there, and I was like, okay, he was standing right here, because I couldn't find any blood around there. Or even like down where he walked. And I was like, what the hell's going on? And then I found my arrow, and I was like, that's supposed to be buried inside of him right now, because I took a frontal shot.
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to find my arrow right now. And there's blood on it. I was like, this something's not right. So, like, I didn't find any blood till 30 yards down his trail, and then I started finding blood, and it was like it was decent blood. Zigzag down this hill, kind of, and the crash I heard, he must have eaten shit over this fence, because there was just freaking fur and blood all over the place. He did like a full somersault over this fence. He just wrecked the whole thing. And I followed blood. It's like a half mile, and it just got so thick and nasty. It was pissing down rain too. Gritted that out for like the rest of the friggin' weekend, and it was like a Thursday.
I thought where you were there was no fences.
There was a fence because there's a wildlife area with National Forest.
Okay.
In that unit.
So Justin, a lot of people probably don't know this. You've been battling Lyme disease for how long?
Well, probably like 5 years.
So remember Full Jaw Film Tour? That was 2017. Didn't you just have it?
No, I had it for a couple of years in, because I got it when I lived up in Seattle.
That's right. And you
I've
got
been
it from
here for 3 years.
You got it from a cougar, right?
Well, I got it, from a tick, but
Oh, yeah.
Cougar.
Yeah. But you killed a cougar and
packing it out, got
it
a
out.
tick in my shoulder strap underneath of it, and didn't know about it because I just
lit your ass up. How long is it till you feel those effects?
It was like
you never really know. It starts off like maybe a few weeks down the road. You have like flu-like symptoms, kind of.
Is that right?
basically, like, and then it kind of, for me, everyone's different too. Like for me, it was probably, it started like a month after. I had like intermittent fevers for like 4 months, where like every week or 2 weeks I would just have like 3 or 4 days where I'd get a fever, like a gnarly fever, and I would just be like, feel like I got hit by a bus from like noon to 10, and then it would go away and I'd feel fine in the morning, and it would come back in the afternoon, And it would go on for like 3 or 4 days, and it would go away for a week, then it would come back for 5 days, then it would go away for 2
how long
weeks.
before you were like, I probably should go to the doctor?
I went to the doctor,
Oh,
but they were like, I said, I either have trichinosis or I have Lyme disease.
what's trichinosis?
You can get it from eating like undercooked bear meat,
Oh,
or
Parasite.
yeah, it's a parasite that like you got. It used to be like a big pork thing, but now like it's not really pork's not really a big deal anymore.
gotcha.
But
But you told him you're like, I either got this or Lyme disease.
yeah, because I'm like, I ate a predator carnivorous animal, and I'm like, maybe I didn't cook the meat enough.
Yeah,
Been on
but-
WebMD all freaking afternoon. I know what
I was
I
like,
have.
well, I just thinking of the two most likely things to catch out there. You know, I'm like,
and those are probably the two most likely.
yeah.
Did you ever notice a bullseye rash at all?
I remember it itching. I don't remember like paying that much attention to
Can
it,
you-
but I remember.
Was it on the back?
Yeah.
It was right here.
So
I was on
you
the
could
front.
barely see it.
Yeah, like it was just a little. It was like right here in my shoulder, and
That's what this is.
Because that's like the sign.
Is
That's
the
like,
yeah, it's
if
the
you get,
bullseye
like,
rash.
like, all, like symptoms and shit. Because like they're like, oh well, maybe you just have like no. Like if you're like, no, I had a fucking bullseye rash. So okay, Lyme
yeah.
disease,
But
boom.
then they say like even the CDC will say like only half of people will get
yeah,
the rash.
yeah, yeah.
It's like stupid, but I do remember it itching for like a couple weeks. I'm like, this is weird, like, but I didn't really put 2 and 2 together, and I also never like, no one ever told me that there's Lyme disease on the West Coast.
I know.
You know,
Is
I
that
mean,
is
every-
Lyme disease here, or especially on the West Coast, not?
It's not as prevalent.
it's not as prevalent. Like it was from like New Jersey,
Got
that
you.
northeast area, and then like the Midwest, Michigan, the Great Lakes areas.
So
It's
it wasn't
really-
unheard of to get it from, or you getting it here. It wasn't.
It's still extremely rare.
It's still rare
Yeah.
Gotcha.
to get it like
Sure,
over
so-
here, like. But then, I mean, from there it like pretty much went into like my cardiovascular system. I started having heart issues and like, what do they call it? Irregular heartbeat.
Palpitations?
Yeah,
Parker,
palpitations.
questions like this.
Parker's in med school.
Undergrad at Portland State University.
Whoop. Yeah. Anyways, I started having like heart palpitations and like weird things were, and then like my blood pressure started like skyrocketing. Like at one point, I went to the ER and it was like 210 over 180,
Oh
and
my
they were like,
God.
they were like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I feel like I'm gonna pass out, but I mean, I'm gonna be okay." And they're like, "You might have a stroke," and I'm like, "Great."
Yeah, I'm 30
know.
years old.
Yeah, at the time I was like 27, 28,
Oh, yeah.
you know. I was just like, what's wrong with me, you know? I
Yeah.
can run a marathon. Why am I having to take 3 blood pressure medications and a beta blocker to control my blood pressure so I don't pass out
Yeah.
at school? Like, it's just like shit like that, and nobody had any answers. Like, nobody.
The doctor didn't. When you said it's either this or this, what did the doctor say?
They ran the tests and then told me he didn't actually I never saw any results. He told me in the next doctor's visit that it was negative. Both of them were negative, or everything came back normal. So I went with it, right?
Yeah.
And then he sent me off to the infectious disease, and they're like, "Well, you don't have Lyme disease because your doctor said you don't have Lyme disease." Well, come to find out, like 2.5 years later, I called that doctor's office and I talked to the nurse's assistant, and she's like, looks up my account. She's like, "Actually, it shows those results are still pending." And I was like, I should sue the shit out of you guys.
I should shoot them. I just thought he was gonna say.
Or
But yeah,
that. I mean,
seriously.
yeah. But, like, I can't because it's Lyme disease. I don't have a leg to stand on. Like,
Yeah.
there's no, I didn't lose my arm. So, anyways, it was just like, there was like a 2.5 year period where, like, I was just on all these medications trying to control this stuff that, like, kind of went away. And then all of a sudden, it, like, all the chest pains and the heart palpitations and the high blood pressure stuff went away. And then I started having just like crazy depression and like anxiety episodes that like just came out of the blue.
Yeah.
And like
Tell the people about freaking the moon.
Oh yeah, it would
This blew me
big.
away.
It would be big time. Like I wouldn't sleep. I would just like
Straight up werewolf. Moon comes out and he's just...
It was bad. Like, I would have these, like, seizure things where it would, like... I would, like, hyperventilate and, like, my eyes would roll back in my head and I couldn't, like, I can hear what's going on. I could hear people talk to me, but I couldn't, like, respond. I couldn't do anything. I was just, like, my body was so, like, rock hard and I couldn't move and I couldn't breathe, and, like, I would hyperventilate and I'd be, like, hysterically crying at the same time, but then it would be, like, all kind of a blackout. And, like...
So you can, like, hear your wife saying, like, breathe or trying to help you, and you can't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
That must be scary.
Yeah, and so, like... It happened a few times, like, driving and things like that, and, like, because what would happen when, like, the moon, if it was during a full moon, is, like, anytime I would get startled, it would trigger one of those attacks.
Like some,
So I pretty much have to just, like, lock myself in the house for 3 or 4 days until the full moon went away. No, because anything would startle me. Like, I'm serious, like, you setting down that cup right now, I would have jumped and started crying and had a seizure right here.
I don't know what I would... So... when we went elk hunting, I was like, if something happens, like, what do I need to do?
Nothing. Just ride it out.
Stand there and watch my friend have a seizure in front of me and not be able to do anything.
Yeah.
I was nervous, like, all Nevada, because Justin was just trucking. And I was like, dude, if he goes down, dude, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. No. At that point, I pretty much, like, I can tell when it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's...
Just like a little, like, they call it an aura. It's like a feeling or a sensation you get right before it happens.
Mm-hmm.
You ever get that?
Yeah, it's like, to me, it felt like a dump of adrenaline that would just, like, and I'd be like, whoa, I feel like I could run through a wall like the Kool-Aid Man, it's coming! And, like, you know, and then, you know, a leaf would fly by and I'd be like, oh, shit, and then it would just happen and I'd have a seizure. And, like, when it was bad, you know, 2 years ago, it was anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour.
And for those who don't believe him, but you have a video on your Instagram, which I could probably put up, of, remember you're in Montana, I think, with your wife, and you're like, another full moon, it looks like you just got done crying, your eyes are all watery, and you're like, gotta love Lyme disease or something like that.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
It was just like...
I was like, are you kidding me?
Dude, we were just, like, hanging out, like, barbecuing or something, and, like...
Yeah. I'll put that video
I don't remember what it was that startled me, you know, but it was, like, something dumb, and I just, like, fucking... It just unleashed, and I was just like... I remember that one. It was, like, we were on vacation in Montana, and we were staying at an Airbnb, and, like, the lady came out and was, like, looking around, because I was, like...
Dying?
Sound like I was dying, probably, you know, or, like... whatever, you know, it was just like, it was weird.
Pretty much realized that the full moon is the worst. So whenever it's a full moon, I just twitch and cry all day for no reason, just because Lyme disease.
So, I mean, it's been, lately I've been a whole lot better.
Yeah, so you're not, so you had I remember your pill bag.
Ugh.
Like, we were driving to Nevada and he'd like, reach in the back, black bag, this bottle, that bottle, and he'd one of these, one of those, and I was just like, putting them all in my hand, hand it to him, and he just, boom, 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 boom. I was like, God.
Like every 4 hours.
Yeah. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, that's shit. I'm glad I'm done with all that, man.
But,
it's,
so, smoking the marijuana, does that help?
The marijuana.
Just call it cannabis.
Alright, yeah. Smoking cannabis.
Smoking cannabis.
Does it
weed,
help?
Whatever. Yeah, it does. Like,
Gotcha.
It's probably one of the only things that helps,
Go ahead.
honestly.
Laugh.
Oh my god.
It's alright.
It's just funny because it came, like, out of the complete blue, out of your mouth.
Well, I was going to bring it up, and I was like,
I knew he was going there.
But it's part of the story. Like,
I don't give a shit.
There was we were driving through something, I remember that, and you were like, feel my hand, or maybe Nevada. You were like, feel my hands, and they were so, clammy.
Yeah.
And I was like, ew.
Dude, they were just, yeah.
And then you smoked, and they were fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I mean, and, like, it would, you know, it almost felt like I was on a slow drip of adrenaline, and like, you know, as much pills I was on, like dude, I mean, every anxiety or depression medication out there for the most part, like I tried or went on, or like, you know, pretty much everything except anti-seizure medications, and the only reason they wouldn't give me that is because they couldn't rule my episodes as epileptic seizures.
Did you ever get those pending results back?
No. But I had blood tests afterwards that proved that I have Lyme disease.
Okay, I was going to say, my point was, did you ever get anything of proof that said, yeah, you got Lyme disease?
Yeah, in fact, I did a really expensive DNA test that was sent off to some lab, and it came back with a specific, like, species of
tick that got
bacteria that, like, I have.
Yeah.
And the one that I have was discovered in Goldendale, Washington in 1995. And those surrounding areas or people that have been there and been infected in that area are the only places that bacteria has been found or reported. Yeah. And then the head infectious disease specialist for Providence, like the guy, he's a fucking asshole, told me to my face I was making it up or doing it for attention, that we don't have Lyme here. I was like, dude.
Right?
Dude, I went through so many doctors like that.
When did he tell you we don't have Lyme here?
Last year.
Jeez.
Right?
Yeah, that's bullshit. No.
Yeah, he's full of shit.
Bullshit.
How you feeling now, 4 years later?
Now I'm great. I'm not.
You lost a shit ton of weight.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was on antibiotics for like almost a year solid. Yeah. So like, my gut's pretty not good. Like, I don't have shit for an appetite anymore.
Really?
Like, I eat a meal a day and then some snacks and like.
Not really that hungry?
I'm full. Other than that, if I eat too early in the morning, like I'll get an upset stomach or I'll just puke or, you know.
And that's the aftermath of taking all those
antibiotics.
Yeah.
Yeah, they fuck your whole microbiome up.
Ruined everything.
Huh? You have good bacteria constantly in your body, especially in your digestive tract. Mm-hmm. So like when they put you on like a really strong antibiotic, they're like, make sure you're getting probiotics, live cultures, like eat yogurts, things that'll help replenish that, because like otherwise you're just squirting everything out your ass, like just in a brown blend of nothing, and like you have nothing else.
That's why like the majority of people will never be on antibiotics for more than like 3 weeks.
Yeah. Really? Corey Jacobson has Lyme, or had Lyme, right? You ever talk to him about it?
Just briefly. Yeah,
Probably
really.
not a topic to be, hey, want to talk about Lyme?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's rare enough in the hunting community, at least, that it's kind of, you know.
So now that, well, not now, but now that you're hunting, are you paranoid now of ticks? Wherever you go, you're not checking and you're not all... Because
I mean, I'm not like...
I don't have Lyme and I hate ticks.
I don't know. I'm not like paranoid about it. I'm just a little more cautious than I was. Yeah. You know,
I mean, full body check afterwards,
dude.
Yeah.
Dude,
I mean,
that didn't even cross my mind until I met you.
When it comes down to hunting season, the only thing I don't shave is my beard and my head, basically, because I don't want anything to hinder me seeing a tick.
Yeah.
I mean, if you saw my Instagram picture the other day that I put up, like, there's a picture of one on my finger, and it looks like that. Like,
dude,
that
right
little
now,
speck.
Right now, I picked a couple of my dogs. They're just pinpoint tiny. No bodies to them, no blood. They're so small, dude. You never see them.
It's so hard to find them. And
what time of year did you kill this cat?
November.
So they'd already been feeding for a little bit.
Are they prone to be giant by that time?
I mean, I don't know. I'm not.
Most of them feed by then. They feed maybe once or twice a year, I think. So what happens is they go through the winter, they're full of blood. They come into spring, all the snow melts, and they sit on the ends of branches or blades of grass, mostly on the ground.
And they catch on.
And they get into this hibernation mode, and they put their two arms out, and then they hibernate pretty much.
How do you know this?
You're not interested in ticks at all? I just like to be informed about things.
Right?
I've seen them though. Sometimes you come out into the field, in a bed, and you see a couple ticks on the ends of a blade of grass, and they're just sitting there
this. That's that picture I put up on Instagram. my finger's in front of the blade of grass, and you can see the little tick just reaching its arms out.
So as soon as you go
they
by,
wait for something to.
Yeah, they snag on, and then they snap out of their hibernation mode, and they crawl, and they feed for a while, and then they fall off when they're full, and they get huge. If you've ever seen a full, like I picked some off my dog, dude. They're like the size of my thumbnail.
Oh yeah, when they're engorged.
Yeah,
and then
Steve.
They basically just make their nest and make babies from that, and then in the spring they all hatch and
repeat,
start it all over again.
They're everywhere.
But I don't know how I got it in November, but there wasn't any snow, it was kind of chilly, but I also put my bear rug in the freezer last spring, and then 3 days later pulled it out and ticks came crawling off it. So
no way.
I mean, I swear to God.
The bear you shot this year. You shot that bear like pretty close with a rifle, though, right?
Yeah, 28 or 27 yards.
Yeah, with like a 300 mag. Is there anything left?
Not a lot.
Yeah.
Not a lot. That thing turned out to be 9 years old.
Really?
Can you believe that?
Yeah, I saw you got the results back.
I had no idea.
It's an old ass bear.
It was small. It was like 5.5 feet long. It was.
He was regressing.
It was a little. I mean, it was a female, but it was just like I was blown away that it was 9 years old. I was like, that's pretty cool. I had totally expected it to come back. Your bear was 1.5.
Yeah, right. Because of how small it was.
It's 18 months. It's just a baby,
right?
It's like, damn it. But no, it was cool.
Dang, to get a bear back that is 9 years old. How do they do that? They do that with the teeth, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to go get it checked when you get a bear. And they pull one of the teeth out and then...
ODFW does that?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have to take the whole skull to them?
Yeah.
Sex organs and... Just take the whole bear.
Yeah,
you don't have
take
to. They want you to take the reproductive system. It's an option.
Oh.
Yeah. Are they taking, like, tap from the brain or something? No, or I thought I read something.
I don't know.
Who knows what they do?
They just took a
skull
tissue sample and then they jacked one of his teeth and okay, see you later.
Yeah, talk to you in 9 months.
Talk to you in 9 months.
Right. Well, there's another topic I wanted to talk about. Coronavirus is one of them.
Jesus.
Yo, since we're on the topic of like viruses and stuff, all those mosquitoes in Nevada.
Dude, that was gnarly. That was a black cloud.
Dude, I saw you can see the video, which I'm sure the video does not do justice.
I'll put that video up too.
Dude,
but, oh my
yeah,
God.
you could see if you could see him on video. I mean, that's saying something. You see him in the video?
Yeah. Everywhere.
Oh yeah.
I just had my puffy jacket on, or I had my waypoint on with the hood.
Was there that much water around there?
Yes. There was
Really?
water
Down
everywhere.
in the basin, but we were like way up on top.
Yeah, but there was streams.
Yeah,
and
there
shit.
was.
Basins are on top.
It was. We were up here.
Mosquitoes can fly.
You're right. I forgot about that. But no, like, are they? Is malaria still a thing in Oregon?
It's never been a thing in Oregon.
It has been a thing in Oregon. Look it up.
Malaria?
Malaria. Yes.
Yeah, maybe recently because of all the fucking anti-vaxxers.
Probably.
Oh my God, I know, right? Anti-vax. God, I had some funny ass shirts I was.
Other than ticks, dude, I hate mosquitoes.
Yeah, mosquitoes.
They were so bad in Nevada, dude. I was just in my tent, just.
That's one thing nice about Arizona.
Oh God.
Because there's no like other than tarantulas and scorpions, there's like no bugs.
Man, I don't know what I'd rather substitute that for. I'd probably take that over mosquitoes.
Yeah, I mean, they're big and they're. I mean.
Yeah, because we're up there
You
trying.
can see 'em.
We're up there trying to glass, and you can't, like.
You can't
I
hear each other
had to
talk
be-
because it's just like in your ear the whole time.
Glass like this.
Dude, it sucked.
Yeah, I should have brought my gloves, but I was glassing like this because they would land on my hands.
There was that much
You
water
wake
up
up.
in the 9,000 feet and there's no deer.
Yeah.
You wake
Yeah.
up in the morning, it looks like you have chicken pox.
No, my hands, back of my hands,
Oh, dude. Yeah.
I was just like this, huh?
This is coming from Oregon.gov.
Okay.
Transmission has not been documented in Oregon for decades.
What's a decade? 10 years?
Decades with an
Decades?
S.
20? That's false.
but it still shows like, what is this? 20 people.
You're probably thinking of West Nile.
Oh,
people.
yo, that's probably what I'm thinking about.
That's before your time.
West Nile?
Yeah, you were probably like 6.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking about. West Nile virus. Coming up to the
Climax.
climax of our podcast. I want to end this. This is a story Justin told me, and I was like, I think I called him. We texted. He texted me, and I was like, yeah, no, you didn't. You shot a bull at 127 yards in Arizona. That's not unheard of, but you don't hear a lot of people taking shots like that.
This was
second
shot though, right?
yeah.
It was
That
a
was your
follow-up
follow-up
shot.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So I went down to Arizona, but first I killed a Coatimundi that morning.
Explain what that is.
So we'd been watching that. There's a group of bulls. There was two bulls together.
This is that November tag, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Been watching them for like 3 days, and they were just all on the same ridge. And so we're glassing them in the morning, and I kept hearing this noise behind me, and it's like, you've never been down there. You've been down there that one time we went and glassed on the tour.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
But it's like super, super quiet down there. Like, there's no bugs, there's no squirrels, there's hardly any Tweety birds. I don't know what it is. It's just November in the desert. It's just like silent. And so like anytime you hear anything, it's more than likely an elk or a coos deer. And like, so that's what I thought. I was like, I kept hearing this rustling in the bushes behind me down there glassing. I'm like, there's got to be an elk around here. And the only elk I've seen has been bulls, so it's got to be a bull. Like, it can't be anything else. I haven't seen anything else. So I go, I don't know, 50 yards behind me and start investigating this noise. And then I look, and I find this little creature. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. It looks like a cross between a raccoon and a weasel and a...
River otter.
Yeah, sort of. But it has like a...
Coatimundi?
Coatimundi.
English, please?
Coatimundi.
I know.
But they have like a 3-foot tail, and this thing's tail is wrapped up on it, like, you know what an agave plant looks like?
Yeah.
That's quite.
Oh, they're kind of cute.
Lemur, anteater, possum, raccoon
thing.
Yeah, basically. And so his tail was wrapped around the big stalk, and he was like digging the bottom of this thing out. And the sun was in my face, so when I like walked and looked at him, my shadow went across where he was, and he like flipped out and started hissing at me and shit.
Yeah, aren't they mean?
When they're males and they're alone, they are apparently, and I learned that after.
And you said, "Oh hell no!"
Yeah, and so
Bonk.
I shot him in the chest at 30 yards and took him home with me.
Did you eat them?
No, but I got a full mount of them in my house.
That's awesome. Who did that?
Friend of a friend.
Really?
Yeah, it turned out pretty rad.
What do you have? How do you have them mounted?
What do you mean?
Well, like on a branch, on a.
Oh, it's on a rock,
Looks like a.
so you can kind of just hang it on the wall. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Man, what a 3-foot tail.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's every bit of that long.
So people are listening because they want to hear this shot up at 127.
Yeah, I know. So, anyways, I kill that thing, and I'm like, well, got my balls back, so I'm gonna go and kill that bull now. So I go hop on the 4-wheeler from the glassing point, and I go run back to camp, and I skin the coati real fast, and I hang it over a branch in the tree, and I'm like, all right, go back and make my stalk and on this bull. And by this time it's like 11 a.m. Parked four-wheeler and I start my stalk, and it took me I think it took me 4.5 hours or so to get in position, and came out to this little cliff edge where I could look down into the little basin where they were, and I happened to be there with a girl named Jordan Budd, who's a badass killer
on Instagram.
Yeah, she's a badass. But anyways, she was there. She had the same tag as me, and we had communicated a little bit, so we decided we were going to glass together that day. And so I texted her when I got kind of close on top of the ridge up there. I was like, is he still in that same kind of area? And she's like, yeah, they haven't moved much. They went a little bit to your right. And I was like, perfect. And so I went down there, and I got on that cliff edge and sure shit, he was out there just feeding, and he was 56 yards, and so I drew back and torqued the shit out of the bow, and arrow came off and all porpoisey and flighty and weird, and just hit him like, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 ribs back further than you want, ideally. And immediately his head slunk down, and he, like, you could tell his posture changed, and he kind of like, he didn't really know what happened, but then there was like dark looking liver blood kind of slowly pouring out of his side. It was good elevation wise, but it just far back, I just didn't make a good shot, and so his head slunk down, and he just kind of walked down the ridgeline he was on, and I was like, oh no, don't go, because like in this country, like,
yeah, I remember you telling me
if he
this.
goes, like, I might never find him. Like, it's just that type of country. Like, it's hard to explain, but it's gnarly. And so anyways, he gets to a point where he stops, and he's kind of like, he's broadside slightly quartered away, slightly, he's extremely downhill at this point, because he's walked another 40, 50 yards down the hill. And so I range him, and he's 127, but because of the angle, it's a 91-yard shot. So,
Deep.
yeah, steeper than shit. So I dial my sight. I got a 5-pin with a slider. So the bottom one is my floater. So I dial that thing down to 91, and I grab the arrow that I happened to shoot right through that coatimundi and stick in a cactus, and it was all bloody, and I sent it right through the chest of that bull
At
127 yards.
127 yards.
And he took 2 steps and piled up. It was probably the greatest archery shot I'll ever make and ever had made.
Yeah.
Like, it was just, I can recall to this day, I remember anchoring, and I just remember, okay, take a breath, he ain't going anywhere. And then I remember looking at my level and being like, okay, you're off, it's long, level that thing, and then just squeeze, and then whack!
Just watch it just.
And just, I
How
heard,
much float time, dude?
oh, dude, hang time was forever. It was crazy. And then it just, like, just that sound
Oh, yeah.
of a long distance arrow hitting an elk, it was just
Wham!
so loud. And it was, in the desert, and it was all quiet, and it was just, I'm pretty sure.
Were you with Jordan?
She was still way back at the glassing point, but
Gotcha.
she had a couple of pictures of me from up on top of
You showed me.
up on top of the ridge. It's kind of hard to tell, but
Send
you
me
can
those,
see the
Send
elk.
me those pictures.
You can
I
see
wanna
the
show
elk
'em.
in the in the circles too, so it's pretty cool. But yeah, it was pretty exciting,
127 yards, dude. I'll
And
never take a shot like that.
and it was a pass through.
Yeah, but that 127 yards, you're pretty dang confident shooting that far.
Yeah,
Like I'm, because of the sight I had, dude. I was only confident to like 60.
that and you don't practice that much.
And I don't practice. Yeah, well, 'cause
At
I
all.
can't. Yeah, at all.
You can
You gotta come hang out with me at
look
work.
where you live. You could shoot like 50 yards here, no problem.
Oh yeah, I do.
Yeah, do it every day.
I thought you meant I don't practice at 120 yards.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
Who practices besides
Cameron Haynes.
Cameron Haynes?
Yeah.
I would say 250 yards. No.
I like to practice at 100
Yeah.
quite a bit.
Yeah.
I
Oh
see,
yeah.
yeah,
Well, we had that whole range
Cool.
built at Coles. And, like,
I
up
think
to
the
100.
longest I've been able to practice was like I had a place set up where I could shoot like 130.
Yeah.
But any further than that, and it would be like my fletchings would hit the bottom of my sight.
Yeah. At that point, you gotta use like your bubble.
Yeah, or add another peep sight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did that.
Double peep.
At Cole's house, we had an egg set out at like 80 yards.
70
70
or
you
80.
smacked it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's that same day Parker arrowed that spike or whatever when he arrowed that bull. I was full draw on a really nice herd bull by myself,
Mm-hmm.
and I had him at 60, but it was like a straight uphill shot, and I just saw his throat and stuff, and then he went back, and when I came up the hill, he was at 85 raking a tree, and I didn't take the shot, but I was like, dude, if I would have had him,
85 raking a tree could have been 40 raking a tree real quick if you just.
I couldn't because I had 2 cows bedded to my right, which I could have shot. And then I had his satellites running around me, so I just didn't move. But, yeah, I was like, man, if I would have had Trevor, Cole, or Parker, or you, anyone that can shoot up to that yard, you guys would have had a smoke.
70's far.
Yeah.
When I first heard you shot that bull at 127,
Yeah, I was like, BS.
I immediately thought, this is your first shot on this bull. I was like, that's dumb.
Yeah.
Dude. That's dumb.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, you would get some hate for that.
Definitely.
It's like, no, it's a follow-up shot. I was like,
Follow-up shot.
that's badass. Okay.
But, I mean, could you imagine if you had that on film, dude?
Oh, it would have been sweet.
That's like one of those stories that you just wish you would have had on film. 127 yards.
Just to authenticate it.
Yeah. Just to be like, oh,
You know?
I'm not joking.
Because, like, I watched it, but nobody else did.
Yeah.
You know?
And how far, I'm sorry, how far did he walk after that?
3 steps.
And then,
Just fell over. And then I remember after that, he fell over. I remember just sitting in this one spot, and I dropped everything, and I just put my binos on my tripod and sat there and just locked them on this one fork and one tine that I could see of his antler. And it didn't move for like 15 minutes, so I sent Jordan a text, and I was like,
I think he's dead.
has he moved at all? And she's like, he's laying down, but I think he's dead. Maybe give him another 15 minutes and go down there.
Yeah.
And, at this point, it hadn't been that long, but I was like, he ain't moving.
Yeah.
I don't know. And at this point, I didn't know that it was like a perfect shot, but I'll send you a picture of the shot, dude. It's like, dude, it's money.
Yeah.
Like, just money shot.
I want to start putting up right here, like videos and pictures to go with the stories that we're telling. So it
Where?
just makes more sense.
Yeah.
Here.
Right there, Parker.
Yeah, right here.
Imagine this
In the air?
imaginary screen.
This
Imaginary
invisible
screen.
screen right here. With my editing, I can just put it the picture here.
Are you, what?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
It's
serious.
amazing.
No, I thought you meant like literally a
No.
physical screen right here. I was like, what are you gonna? What? Okay,
I don't know how I'll
get
do
it.
it yet, but
Edit.
I'll
Dub
figure it
this.
out.
Dub this scene in right here.
I don't know. I remember last year you were like, we were sitting around the fire when they all left. It was just you and I, and you were like, you gonna put in for Idaho with me? I was like, shit, dude, if I can. And you're like, it's only this much. I forgot how much money it was. You're like, it's only this much money. Only.
$1,200.
Yeah. I'd love to do it.
Idaho or Arizona?
I'm saving up right
Idaho.
now.
Idaho,
Dude.
you just buy. You don't have to put in. I mean, you can. There's controlled ones to put in, but
Yeah.
Idaho's just $612.75 for an elk tag this year.
Easy. I got that in the bank right now.
We'll get it one because
Yeah.
next year's are going up.
Really?
Mhm.
How do you know that?
The Idaho Fish and Game.
Oh, really?
Oh, you know what's cool about Wyoming that I didn't know that I just learned last week? You don't need to buy a license to put in for points. You can just buy points straight up for $50.
All the way through, I think, the end of September.
Yeah.
Or maybe the end of October.
So if you want, start buying points. Just put in $50.
Yeah.
You get a point for Wyoming. Just do it every year. You build up points.
But
I didn't
it's
know that at all.
You're 40.
it's like, I think it's 50, like for deer, 50
Yeah.
for elk, and then like I think it's 75 for moose, 75 for sheep, 75 for mountain goat.
Yeah.
Got you.
But it's cheap compared to most.
So,
You know,
when we...
Colorado, you got to front everything.
Yeah. I know.
I think it's Colorado.
I'd like to go down to Colorado.
New Mexico, you do.
I'd like to go do Colorado deer. Like a deer hunt in the rut in Colorado. I think that'd be
I
awesome.
might try to do that next year. I don't know. I can't decide if I want to do early or late because next year I'll have like 6 points for deer in Colorado.
You know, what I didn't know, since I've known you, is you do a majority of this by yourself. You're a solo hunter.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
This year's the first time I've hunted with anybody,
Yeah.
and like it's because you guys showed up.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, all 90 of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt bad.
That won't happen again. I do want to go back to that spot. I think Brandon and I want to do like a week there. Y'all are
That's
invited.
rough hunting.
It is rough, man, but it was
It's just like the terrain. It's just like, I don't know. I like it.
Big spots.
It's
in there.
cool. It's a switch up, but like, damn.
yeah.
I think if we get in over that ridge, though, remember where I took you?
Yeah.
And you get to that, and there's some country in there that's a little more open and stuff. And dude,
You weren't that far from the the trailhead, remember, I think it was like our first day, first hunt. You were like, did you see anything? He was like, no. We all said no, and you're like, I had 2 bulls at like 45 yards. Fighting, remember that?
They were about to fight. They were posturing. I had them at 58 downhill.
Like, and you didn't shoot?
They were like going, like they would face off, and then they would like posture back and forth like this.
Yeah.
Like parallel to each other. Like, and each of them, there was enough distance in between them that if either one of them would have taken 2 or 3 steps forward, I could have shot either one of them.
Yeah.
But they were just both enough covered between like shit that I had no shot either way. And I tried like moving back and forth a few times, and I couldn't, and it just
They're there.
wouldn't work out.
I'd like to go this July.
Dude, they were both big.
Let's set some cameras.
Like, they were both 300 plus bulls.
Really?
No question.
You need to go with me. Just like, after work one day, just right up.
Oh yeah, to your spot.
That bull that we got on camera.
It's worth mentioning. We went there because I had to work the day after. I had to work opening day or opening evening.
Same.
So I got to hunt opening morning, and I had to drive. You remember that? Yeah. We were sitting by the
You're
fire.
gonna take Justin.
Evening before, dude. I know. They're the hardest bulls to freaking hunt, dude.
Yeah.
Hardest elk to hunt.
Around here?
Right up on Hood.
Right up on Hood.
Oh my God, it's impossible.
Yeah.
Because they're migratory as hell. Because there's 6 feet of snow there in the wintertime. They're just so used to like being totally out of their comfort zone. But we're sitting by the fire, and a whole herd comes 60 yards to us while we're sitting right at camp.
Yeah.
We're just mew,
Drinking
mew,
some
mew, 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 and then this
whiskey.
bull starts. I'm like, what the? Oh
We
my
had
God!
music playing
Yeah,
too.
we're listening to music,
working
and you can just
quiet
see
at
their
all.
silhouettes kind of like down the hill. There's a whole herd right there.
Yeah, Trevor texted me, and I was like, you're lying. There's no.
I'll show you a picture of this bull that I got on camera from like literally like 3 days after that happened. I left, came back the next week, checked the camera, and I was like, really?
Yeah, because we're having issues with cameras, and we
Yeah.
thought that one wasn't working, and then we
Who's
just
that
said,
dude?
screw it, left it up there.
We were sitting around the fire, and you were playing him Elk Nut. What's that guy's name?
Milk nut?
I
have that dude's app.
Paul, something.
So
Metal.
you start playing him and around the fire, and I was like, God, I can't stand this guy. But he was spitting facts, and I was like, and it all started like coming together. So like, when you guys left, Justin and I that morning, like I have a video of it, right off the trailhead. Justin let one go, and this bull chuckled like 150 yards away.
Dude, we played cat and mouse by that bull for like
Oh my God.
3 hours.
And Justin was like, "That's a what?"
It means he wants you to come over.
Yeah, and I was like,
he's inviting us over.
"How do you know this?"
Starts playing
Did
the
he-
app.
I was like, "How do you know that's what he said?" And dude,
I mean, judging by his stuff, but we walked right to that bull
Right.
how many times?
yeah,
And he stood his ground. I mean, it made sense after.
Justin turned
Doing
around.
it.
He's like, "Grab your hammer, start hammering away," and I was just going at it.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right,
Mouse St. Helens.
we're
man.
gonna wrap this podcast up, but first,
I'm gonna piss my pants.
I want to do this little segment. I wanted to read you guys all the hate comments that we've gotten. So I went through. I just dug through Facebook posts, YouTube comments of all these hate comments. Dude, some of them made me just laugh my ass off. All right.
This ought to be good.
Yeah. So, alright, this guy says on CJ's Fish, record setting, they put fish in that lake the size multiple times a year, you clowns. Here's another one.
What's his name?
I don't know, I don't want to put him on blast.
Okay, well, anyways, have you ever caught a fish that big?
Yeah, right? Here's another one. You and your crew are a joke. One turkey and a mule deer between 20 of you. Ducks don't count. My blind uncle shot more ducks than you last year combined. On to the next one. Here we go.
We're gonna talk about it. Or we're just gonna take it.
I'm gonna
Just
put
take-
them, I'm gonna
just
put them
take-
right here on the
Awesome.
imaginary screen. Here's another one. Another stupid video. Here's another one. F you, bro. You don't just throw a big fish like that. Be respectful and release it so someone else can have fun catching it. You with like 30 U's. Here's another one.
Cole slipped out of his hair.
You might remember this one. Keeping illegal fish is called poaching. Not having a net is poor form. Buy a net and keep your grubby hands out of the gills. I'm gonna keep my eye out for you clowns at East Lake. Hopefully you jokers keep to the docks. Here's another.
It's about that
This
massive
one's just
brown.
simple. Organ hunting sucks. Alright, here's another. For real, kinda useless eating record fish. Why wouldn't you want that gene pool in your waters still? Also, kinda dick move just watching your buddy while he fell in the water grabbing your fish. Shake my head.
Didn't eat it. He mounted it.
Yeah.
Wasted the whole thing.
We actually did eat it.
Oh, we ate it.
I didn't eat it. CJ and his dad ate it. Here's y'all are tools. Y'all are tools.
It's got a tool name.
I can't tell if this is a comment or if this is hate or not. They are hunters, not Steven Spielbergs. Okay.
What?
I don't know. Learn how to spell and put a sentence together if you want people to comment. Not impressed. This is alright. Out of all of those ones we just read, this is my favorite because it's true, and this is my fault as an editor. I enjoy your videos, but I have to crank my volume when you're in the woods whispering. Then you change scenes with the music blaring, and I blow my ears out. Oh my gosh, there's so much more, but I thought that'd be a fun segment to put on there and just see all you guys hating on us. That's how it is. Will never be good for people. That's how it is everywhere.
Can't please
though.
everybody.
Can't please everyone.
I can't please myself.
I know.
That's too bad.
That's a shame right there.
I appreciate you coming on, man.
No problem.
We'll do it again. This time we'll talk about. I wish we would have talked more about our Nevada trip and how sucky it was, but we're already at like an hour and a half.
Maybe next time we'll have 20 viewers.
Maybe next time, yeah, we'll actually have some podcast listeners.
How many did you have last time?
I don't know. We had a fairly good amount on YouTube.
20.
Yeah, like 25. No, I think we're like at 300 or something, and then on Spotcast, on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, we had like maybe 100 or so each.
5.
Yeah, 5 combined. That's cool. All right, boys, my bedtime.
Just forgot my shred time.